We all love Star Wars, and if you don't, well, why are you here? No, but Star Wars has something for literally everyone. It has awesome action, mesmerizing music, stunning visuals, charming characters and actors, unique stories, and so much fucking content. So much! Holy shit. However, the fan base is always so split on which of these movies are the best, and often it becomes hella toxic. And I want to fuel that fire. So that's what I'll be doing today. I'll be ranking all of the Star Wars movies from worst to best, in my opinion. Now when I say my opinion, I truly mean my opinion. I try to be reasonable and look at them from their cinematic capabilities, but also my own nostalgia and preferences because, yeah, of course. So yeah, before you write your toxic comments calling me a rat's penis, then yeah, remember that we all have our preferences. However, that doesn't mean I don't want to hear your rankings down in the comments. Let's try to have some civil discussions. The Rise of Skywalker. So my least favorite Star Wars is The Rise of Skywalker. The more I think about this movie, the more I hate it. It's not even that I think the movie is the worst from a cinematic point of view. There are some things I really like. For example, the relationship between Rey and Kylo is pretty interesting, and their fight on the broken Death Star is emotional. You know, this whole Rey is exhausted from her internal battle and her identity, while Kylo is breaking himself, fighting the girl who actually cares about him. I like C-3PO as well in this movie. I think he low-key outshines all the other characters, and yeah, it made me actually like C-3PO. There are some actually interesting ideas in the movie, but holy fuck, I hate so much about the things it chose to be. Whether you like The Last Jedi or not, you have to admit that reversing its impact on the story was stupid and ruins any connectivity between the trilogy. Making Rey a Palpatine was idiotic, and ruins an awesome theme of you being who you want to be. Now Rey's just fucking powerful because she's a Palpatine. It's just Luke's story over again. The inclusion of love interest for Finn and Poe was just unneeded. Like, what's wrong with them having actual screen time together? What's wrong with a possible gay couple? This just exemplifies an anti-LGBT viewpoint. Ew. I also don't like how they just reversed everything from Return of the Jedi, mainly Palpatine coming back. It just feels like they were scared that the new characters wouldn't be able to carry the movie. It shows fear. However, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi stand well enough on their own, so I'm gonna just watch those and just skip the rest of Skywalker most of the time. Next up, we have The Phantom Menace. Now, this is the movie I personally think is the artistically least impressive, because it has a lot of elements that just don't work for me. I could talk about the common criticisms like stale acting, boring dialogue, weak characters, but also I just have a lot of personal disagreements with this movie. I even thought it was boring when I was younger up until the Darth Maul fight. I have to admit, when those doors close, I'm all up for this movie, and it's definitely the high point of the whole movie. However, as I've said before, the story is kind of pointless towards the fall of Anakin. Some scenes with his mom and Padme could have easily been replaced into the Attack of the Clones instead of some of those pointless CGI action pieces. This is definitely the film I get the least out of when watching, and honestly I sometimes dread having to watch it again. Attack of the Clones. Now, Attack of the Clones is kind of in the same boat as Phantom Menace, with most of the same criticism being valid here. However, I enjoy watching this movie a lot more. There's more to keep you engaged, such as the Obi-Wan Jango fight, although being weird and random, is fun. Padme and Anakin's romance, although cringy and inhuman, is fun, and I love laughing at it with my friends. Probably the thing I hate most about this movie is Count Dooku. I like him as a character in other Star Wars media, but in this film he just has no purpose. He's just there suddenly, and yes, he does things, but that doesn't make him an interesting villain that we can understand or try to find any resonance with. Villains are great when they're twisted versions of us. The best ones even make us wonder whether we truly are correct or not. Like Thanos. Thanos is a badass, yes, but he's also an emotionally resonant character because we fully understand his emotions and he has us questioning our own morals. Count Dooku is just a body that swings around a lightsaber in some of the worst sword fights in the whole saga. Fuck me, it annoys me so much. However, as I said, I still think it can be entertaining, and yeah, Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman are hot, so hell yeah, I dig it. Next up, we have the first spin-off of the list, Rogue One. I've heard people, Anomaly Inc, saying that this is the height of Disney movies, the only small slither of light, but that's fucking bullshit. Being a character-driven story, the characters kinda suck. Cassian is just a rebellion dude who's been in this battle since he was 6 years old. Good. Cool. Good for you. What else have you got going for you? I don't even remember the other characters. What the fuck? Oh, wait, no. Jin goes from hating rebellion to joining them because they killed her father. Big oops. Nah, but the final third of this movie is of course really good and interesting and emotional and thrilling. And the Darth Vader scene is fucking brilliant. One of the highlights of the whole series. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. I like watching it, especially the last third, but I don't get much out of it. If I only watched the first 2 parts of this movie, I'd hate it. I'd hate all the characters and the plot.
Return of the Jedi.
Now this is where the movies are ones I love to death. I mean, I really like all of them, but from here on out, I'm in love. Return of the Jedi is fun and adventurous, and fuck me, the whole Luke Vader Palpatine confrontation is awesome and so compelling. It's definitely the most flashy of the originals, and that's what, as a child, made me really like it. However, it is held back by a first arc that, although it's fun, has no significant purpose and could have been resolved so easily by Luke just fighting everyone from the beginning. And also the whole Ewoks destroying the Empire just kind of takes away any threat level the Empire had. Although when the little Ewok died and his friend is sad, it low-key kills me every single time. I don't have much else to say about this one. I love it. It resolves the trilogy so well, and it just has some plot problems, but that's fine. Next up, we have Solo, which people have just forgotten about, even though it's actually pretty good. It is the only movie that feels properly disconnected from the rest, which I love since it's a spin-off. I mean, of course there are some cameos and fan service, but it's not too much. And other than that, it's a fun western. Han Solo is fun in this movie, and I love his quirkiness, which is reminiscent of the originals, but doesn't exactly copy them because the character is younger here. I like all the characters because they just feel right and they feel real. It's not the deepest movie, it's not the most risky movie, but it's just fun adventure and honestly encapsulate what Star Wars is all about better than most of the other movies. Revenge of the Sith. Now this is probably where most will get angry because so many people think this is the best Star Wars movie. But they're all just blinded by the memes. The beautiful, beautiful memes. Without them and the nostalgia, it's really not the best movie in my opinion. It has a great opening arc with Obi-Wan and Anakin saving the Chancellor, and for the first time in this trilogy, we see this good friend shit that Kenobi was talking about in The New Hope. They actually banter with each other. They actually care about each other, and I'm all in for it. But then they get split apart, and the movie just kind of becomes boring. Anakin is angry about not being a master. He has a dream about Padme dying, and then he talks a bit to the Chancellor. Obi-Wan goes to Utapau and kills General Grievous, who's just a fucking filler villain. Yes, he's awesome, but what the fuck, he's just a waste so that we can see Obi-Wan be a Jedi. Imagine if that fight was with Darth Maul. Oof! But yeah, the climax is what really gets people going, but no? Anakin goes from being afraid of his wife's death and accidentally playing a role in the death of a cynical Jedi Master to murdering every child he can find. What the fuck? I love my mom, I love my girlfriend, I'm afraid of them dying, but fuck me, I ain't never thought, oops, let me murder children. I know it's a different story with magic and dark powers, but still, Anakin's turn to the dark side is not justified enough. If he wasn't a mass murderer, then yes, this turn could be more believable. He could have been Darth Vader without killing younglings. This leads us to Order 66, which yes is sad because of John Williams' music, which would make any scene sad, but we have no connection to any of these characters, so when they die it's just like, oh no, that's sad. Finally, the battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan is awesome. It goes on for a bit too long for my liking, but the climax is so filled with emotion, and I love it. Great ending. But fuck me, why did Obi-Wan and Yoda just give up? Why? Yoda didn't even lose, he just fell down. Anyways, I love this movie, I have so much nostalgia for it, but come on people, let's not pretend it's a masterpiece. Now we move into The Force Awakens. This movie reignited my passion for Star Wars when it came out. That experience in the cinema when everyone was excited beyond belief, it was magical, and everybody loved this movie until it became uncool to do so, of course. But honestly, The Force Awakens is pretty good. It's not a remake, it's an homage, which means it pays tribute to A New Hope with similar structure and plot points, but is completely different in the characters and their emotional impacts and resonance. And it does this really well. It's just a really fun and enjoyable movie that was perfect way to get people excited for Star Wars again. The new characters work great, like Rey, Finn, Poe, and Kylo, who all shined in their own way. Finn in this single movie is probably my favorite character portrayed on a single Star Wars movie. So that doesn't count him in the later movies, but in this one he was so compelling. The lightsaber fight at the end was awesome, no matter how many stupid people claim it was bullshit because their eyes don't work properly. However, of course there are problems, like many of the filmmaking details like acting, writing, plot structure, it's all just decent. Like it's nothing special, but it also doesn't have to be. As long as it isn't downright disturbing, then I'm fine with it. And it'll feel like Star Wars. My nostalgia for this movie is insane because it basically reignited my passion for the series. but it's also just such a fun movie. Don't hate it. On third place, we have A New Hope. Now this movie is hard for me to place because it has so much good, like groundbreaking visuals, amazing music, the twin sun shot, engaging characters, phenomenal pacing, good writing. It's just a really solid movie, and I feel like it's something people don't give it enough credit for. It's not just the revolutionary movie that created this franchise. No, it's arguably the height of the series in terms of quality. I really don't have much to say about it. My nostalgia is probably the lowest for this movie than any of the others, but that just lets me appreciate it more as a movie. Of course it has weird shit like the awkward acting, shitty dialogue, scenes that just drag on too long. But you know what? I don't care. I love it. It's Star Wars, and it's the only movie that can truly stand on its own. Because it did. The Last Jedi. Now, having The Last Jedi on second place is for most of you probably gonna take away any credibility I may have had. Or you may just wanna kill me. But honestly, fuck y'all, this is an amazing Star Wars film. I've talked about it in quite some detail before, stating how I love Luke's character arc, how I love Rey's parentage, how I love Rey and Kylo's dynamic, how I love the visuals, the fights, the music, the cinematography, the whole chase dynamic thing, the light speed ramming, the force sensitive kid, Leia's character. I just love so much about this movie. Maybe it's because ever since it came out I've been defending it against mindless haters who like to criticize on anything without any solid arguments. All because their fantasies didn't come true. Now don't get me wrong, there's plenty to criticize about in this movie. It's definitely not a masterpiece, but it's by far one of the most well-made Star Wars movies. It's also just the movie that made me feel the most. When I first watched it in the cinemas, there was only me and some friends in the room, so we could go crazy. When Luke walked out on the First Order, I lost my shit. I fell onto the row in front of me because I was so excited. I love this movie to death, and it pains me that not many other people appreciate it in the way I do, and instead attack on the people who made it. It's nasty. But more on that in my Toxic Star Wars fans videos, which you should definitely check out, by the way. Anyways, there are bad things about this movie, and there are amazing things about this movie. It just depends on whether you're able to look past its flaws, something every fan does for every Star Wars movie. But apparently not this one. But yeah, it's number 2, and I'm not even sorry about it. Now, of course, at first place comes The Empire Strikes Back. Now, many of you may call me predictable or boring, but dudes, come on, there's a reason Empire is top of most people's lists. It's just a really good movie. From a filmmaking point of view, it's probably the best. Every character makes sense in the story, and the interactions are just perfect, like Han and Leia, Han and Lando, Luke and Vader, Luke and Yoda. Speaking of Yoda, his introduction is iconic. It's hilarious, and when Luke finds out that this tiny little green monster is actually the Jedi Master, it's so unexpected and amazing. And for all of us who are horny for themes, this distortion of good and evil, strength and weakness, is deep and significant to many of our lives. A little hermit eye monkey is a powerful and wise being, while the biggest bad of all time is the father of our hero. It's insane. And yeah, I love that they actually made Darth Vader a character in this movie. It adds so much to the story. And yeah, I know why he was just a baddie in the first one, because it fit that specific story. The twist at the end, which is by far the most iconic plot twist of all time, is only so significant because of this character development Vader gets. Also, by the way, Yoda lifting the X-Wing is fucking beautiful, and I love it. No, but this movie is just phenomenal, and I can honestly rewatch it over and over and over again. Anyone who doesn't think Empire is at least one of the greatest Star Wars movies ever is fooling themselves. Well, a guy in my comments actually ranked it very low, saying how it's just filler. Fucking hell. Anyways, that was my personal ranking of all the Star Wars movies. Now again, I like all of them dearly. I just think some people hype most of them up too much. Most Star Wars movies aren't amazing, but that's okay. We all have so many nostalgic feelings towards these movies, and they mean different things to different people. It's okay to dislike or like any of them, but not to attack other people for having these opinions. If you're a person who does this, then shame on you. I'll probably have to make a Toxic Star Wars fans video on you. No, but anyways, leave your own personal rankings down in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed, then why not leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later.